Hello and welcome to the third part of flight planning, and I've called this one Extras as well for ProATCX. My name's Clive, aka Alpha117, and I'm the forum moderator over at ProATC. Currently working alongside the developer of the software. I've called this one Extras for a reason, because we're just about to release an update 1138, which should have been out today, and we'll timestamp the videos as normal. It's the 1st of January 2013. It was due to be released today, but on our final test flights earlier on this evening, a little bug reared its head, which is going to be fixed in the morning. And hopefully all goes to plan. You should have the next release tomorrow, which is the 2nd of January, and it'll be UK time, so wherever you are in the world you can work out when it should be released. There's quite a few bits on here, hence, as I said, this is why it's called Extras. I'll go through the extras in a minute, and then I'm going to go into importing flight plans, because that seems to be causing a bit of problem with some people, so I'm going to explain that as well. But before we do that, I want to just say a couple of thank yous to people out on the forum. The first one is to Roy from Australia. Thanks, Roy, for being with us and answering all these questions, and along with a lot of other people. You've been doing fantastic stuff on the forums for us when myself and Maura have been very busy. So thank you for that. Roy has been with ProATC, I think, virtually since day one, so he's seen the pains and the growing pains that we're all going through at the moment, so thank you for that. My other thank you is going to be to Jerome. And Jerome is only been with us a few days. Jerome's been in Flight Sim community for some time, and he's very active over on the AvSim forum. A thank you to Jerome for creating in here this installing and getting started ProATC tutorial. Something that's wanted or has been needed for some time, and Jerome's done that off his own back, so thank you for that, Jerome. And if you're watching this video and you're new, or you're thinking about coming to ProATC, so please come and read this tutorial, where Jerome takes you through right from the beginning of purchasing all the way through to get you up and running from that. And if you read that, then it may save you a bit of heartache and a bit of issues when you first buy the product. So again, Jerome, thank you very much, and Roy, thank you. So there are two thank yous on this video, and again, thank you for everybody else, because without you guys watching this video, then there would be no ProATCX, to be honest. So that's that bit out of the way. While we're here, two things, I think. Oh yeah, logins not saved. Bit of issue for everybody. In fact, it's happening to me as well. It's saving my user ID and password, but it's not logging me back on, just like you guys, that when I tick the box it doesn't happen. We are looking into it, and we've got an idea of what it could be, so bear with us on that, and we'll get that resolved as quick as we can. The final thing I think I just want to go over, or just make people aware, Windows 8 at the moment seems to be causing an issue, and again, I've written on the forums about, yes, we are aware of it, etc. And hopefully we'll be looking into that next week, when everybody's fully back to work. We'll have a look at that and find out the issues with ProATCX and Windows 8. Okay, so there are the two other things here I want to just go over while I'm making this video. Alright, so that's that. Let's get back to the extras part of it. I'm going to start here on the flight planning screen. Some of the extras on this screen here. One of the first things you'll notice here is this yellow zoom bar on the bottom. A lot of users have asked for the zoom bar because they're using touchscreens, whether it be a tablet, an iPad or whatever, to run ProATC X on. So they ask for a zoom bar. You can use this as well with a mouse, just click and drag it and it drags across. Okay, you can still use your mouse wheel and scroll in and out. You'll notice also we've changed the way the zoom works now. The zoom stays more focused on where you are instead of being all over the place. So that's the first new thing on here, is this zoom bar at the bottom here. The other big thing over here is the SIDS and stars. We previously just had the transitions for both here at the top, and I can still use that. If I click that, then it just puts on the transition from the SID, and I can just click those. Okay, I've Compton before. Alright, and I can click that one there, and it still puts the transition on. But what you don't see is the SID that leads up to that transition from the SID onto the route to wherever you're going to go. So what we came up with and what we looked at was, well, when you're manually flight planning, sometimes it's nice to know and to see visually where the SIDs are. And if we click on this one, we can now actually see the SID and all the points on the SID go into the transition here, and we can click on TNT and we can see all the parts for the SID. Alright, and you can just click around, so you get an idea of which way and the SIDs are going to go. And also, if you can drill into these and have a look at the SID altitude restrictions on different various parts of the SID. Okay, so that's that. You can do the same with stars. Obviously, if I click the star now, there's nothing there because I've got no destination airport. So if I place a destination airport in, and I'll use my good old Amsterdam Schiphol, I select that, and then from the transition of the SID, it will then know a direct line across to Amsterdam. And now you'll notice here the SIDs have been placed into this box, and I can choose the SIDs again, and I can see where these SIDs go. Okay, so you've got a bit of an idea of the directions of these SIDs, and you'll also notice that they're colour coded. The SIDs and stars are colour coded red, and the route itself is colour coded orange. Okay, and I'm just going to show you where you can change these in the options, because there's a few other things in there that I think you need to be aware of and that now actually work correctly. So you notice now that we've got the 4 parts, and if you've watched the previous video before, you know before you can start to edit a route and add waypoints, you need the 4 parts. And if you remember, the 4 parts are your destination, your star, your SID, and your departure airport here. Okay, so these are the 2 new things on the flight planning screen. Okay, so that's all that's on this screen, and just bear in mind, if you manually, make sure you turn this auto to off. Okay, alright, so that's the first part of that extras. The other part of the extras is in the options here. If we come to the in-flight tab here, not the application but the in-flight tab, you'll see under flight here we've added a couple of extra options. One of the first options you see here is the Generate Airbus X Extended Flight Plan. Okay, ProATC X can now import flight plans into the new Aerosoft Airbus X Extended, aka the AX, and I firmly believe that ProATC X is the first third-party software that has that functionality built into it to import the flight plans you generate in ProATC into the McDo of the new Airbus AX. There's a lot of caveats to this, and I'll explain those bits when I go through the importing of flight plans into the Airbus. Okay, so there's quite a bit to that, but the first thing you need to know is if you want to generate Airbus extended flight plans, please make sure you tick that box. Okay, another new option underneath this is this one here, add SID to PMG AX flight plan manually. If that box is ticked, then when you generate the flight plans for either the PMG, DG, NGX or the AX, then when you import the clearance flight plan into the FMC or the McDo, then it will not include the SID. It will not include the SID. You will have to manually yourself, once you're on the flight deck, import or input that SID into the FMC or the McDo of the AX. Alright, a lot of people wanted that functionality, so which is now there. So if you want that, then please just tick the box. If you want the SID to be imported when you import the clearance flight plan, then just untick it as well. Okay. I just want to go through these next two here. The force runways according to AI, disregard weather. A lot of you are probably aware, and if you're not, that if you tick this, then you would be given a runway for clearance and for arrival, depending on the runways the AI was using at the time, and depending on, again, on your AI package, depending on how the AI interacted with the airport and with the weather that was being injected into FSX. Prior to this release of ProATC, it was not working quite right, and we were having a lot of problems, which some of you were voicing correctly on the forum. This has now been fixed, so my advice is please leave that unticked, and the AI and yourself will be using the correct weather. And here's the caveat to the AI using the correct weather as well. Please, please, please make sure that once you've injected the weather with your weather program, whether it's Opus, Rex, Active Sky or whatever, please make sure that you allow the weather to take place, the weather to change. The way I see that, and the way I do it for me, I use Opus, and that's my personal preference. A lot of people use Opus. I think it's fantastic. Is apart from actually knowing that the weather's been injected correctly and FSX has taken it, you'll see the clouds change, the weather, the rain or snow will appear. But also, if you press your B key, your barometer QNH will change, and that's all I use. Actually, keep pressing B. Say pulling other screens up as well. You have the visual indication, obviously, that the weather will change. It becomes snowing or whatever. But another good way is to press the B key and to see if your QNH changes on that as well. Okay, so that's quite important that actually you do allow the weather to settle. Once the weather is settled, then you need to use your AI packages reset or re-inject your AI. I use Ultimate Traffic 2. There's a FSX menu option that allows you to restart and or stop and start the AI. I always do that as well, and then again give it a bit of time just to re-inject the AI, and that will pick up on the weather that's being injected. Okay, and then everything will be fine, and everybody will be taken off on the right way. I was testing this last night, and I did about 10 to 12 test flights from different airports around the world, and it worked 100% of the time. It was all going the right way. The ATIS weather wind's direction was the same as the Opus that I use, which was therefore ProATCX was allocating the correct runway. Alright, so please just make sure, my advice is please leave this unticked now. Do not tick it anymore. Okay, leave it unticked. Alright. The other one here, manual descent initialization TOD. It's been there for some time. Basically that means if you actually tick that one, then ATC will not give you descent instructions into your approach. This allows you to look at your FMC McDo and work out when you decide you want to make your start of your descent. Okay, so bear that in mind. If all of a sudden that you're not descending or you get no descent instructions from ATC, then please make sure that this is unticked. Okay, so that's on here, on this one. The other one here again is a setup, and really only if you've got the axe. Please come in here and check to make sure that you are pointing to the right folder where the company routes.txt file is kept. Alright, ProATC X will default to the standard installation from Aerosoft if you're English installation. If you're not English installation, then you will probably have to come and change it here manually. Alright, so that's the folder path for the axe. Okay, one of the other things here is, again, a lot of people were saying, well, I don't know where my runway is, I've got no idea how I'm getting there, I can't see it. One of the easiest ways is you to find out is here to come and change the colour, alright, of the active runway on your map. If you look here, I've got mine set to yellow for the active runway. Okay, and it's quite simple to change it here. You click to change it, so I click it and I can pick any colour I like, okay, to change the colour of anything in here. Alright, and you can change quite a bit of stuff in here, to be honest. Alright, Jetway route colours, okay, Victor route colours. You can change quite a lot of stuff on here. Alright, so bear in mind that's in here, map style, the active runway, and as soon as you've got your clearance, your active runway will change to the colour that you've set here. And again, that was not working quite right, because that works in conjunction with this option here. And what you found prior to this release was if you tick that, then that worked. Okay, if you untick that there, that didn't work, and it now works. Okay, fantastic, good job, and hopefully you all know where your active runway is. And it's quite handy, I think, if you've got multiple runways and you're not quite sure. It's an airport you're not used to going to. Okay, so that's quite handy to find out where that is there. Alright, so they are the some of the basic changes that have been made here. Okay, I just want to talk a bit about the importing of the flight plans into the AX aircraft, the new Airbus X extended by Aerosoft. I've taken you through and just shown you where the changes you have to make in the options, which is one which is here if you want to generate it, and also to make sure that your folder path is set up correctly. I said at the beginning that there's a lot of restrictions on how you import into the AX. And I want to make this quite clear now that the restrictions are due to the AX and not due to ProATC. That's not bad, that is just, I'm just saying that because where the AX is at the moment, it is very limited. And again, if you've been following the AX forum over on Aerosoft, it's very limited of how it imports, and very convoluted way of getting external flight plans into the AX McDo. So here's some of the restrictions. Okay, restrictions number 1, that your departure airport must have SIDS. That's important. You can't import a flight plan into the Axis McDo with an airport that hasn't got a SID. Okay, so that's point 1. Point 2, your destination airport must have stars, and that's for the same reason. Okay, so your departure must have SIDS and your destination must have stars. Okay, so that's the first 2 points. And here's another point. The transitions from your SID and your transitions from this star must be connected to airways. Okay, so going back to a previous video I had, if you want to manually select a waypoint, okay, that's not on the airway, and you want to have that waypoint as a SID transition or a transition from departure, and it's not an airway, then you will not be able to import the flight plan into the ACS. Okay. The other point is this, that all waypoints on your flight plan must be connected to an airway. So all waypoints must be connected to an airway. Alright. And each waypoint leaving an airway must be connected to the next airway. I said there's a lot of caveats to this, and they are them. Okay. Bearing in mind this is not easy at this stage to produce a flight plan that's compatible to be imported into the ACS McDo. Okay. Now here's one here that I've created here. It's my good old standard Birmingham, and if I right click and edit the flight plan, now you'll see here, okay, that all my points are connected to or from airways here. There's no direct, okay, so they must all be on airways like so. If you've got a blank line there, then it will not take it into the McDo. Okay, so bear that in mind. All those restrictions, and I'll say again, I'm going to reiterate this because the restrictions are not due to ProATC. The restrictions are with the ACS by Aerosoft. Now if they decide to change that in a service pack, then it'll make everybody's lives a lot easier to import flight plans. If they do that, then we'll rejig how this imports are done into the ACS. Okay, so that's important to remember. Alright, SIDS and stars for your departure and arrival airports, okay, and your transitions must be connected to airways. Your waypoints must be connected to an airway, and each waypoint leaving an airway must be connected to the next airway, and you'll end up with a flight plan looking like this. Okay, so that's your clearance flight plan. Okay, so that's that for the Airbus stuff. Okay, some other fixes on this release, just to let you know. If you GA fly a lot on GA aircraft, you can now cruise below 10,000 feet and everything should be fine. You'll now get the increase or decrease altitudes at cruise, so that's been fixed as well. Okay. The altitude restrictions on stars, everybody was, or some people having problems with, once they're on approach, were being told to descend, and then in the next breath ATC was telling you to climb. That has been fixed on this as well, okay, which is good. So there's no more descending, climbing up and down like a roller coaster. Alright, so that's as it is now. And ATC will behave correctly, and especially on the, on the approach with altitude restrictions on the stars. Okay, so that's been fixed, which is good. Another one was a lot of people were having runways disabled, and if you don't know where that is, if you come into data, airports, and type in an airport that you're interested in and open that up, you get all the data on the airport here. Some of these runways here were set to no. In fact, they was all set to no for takeoff and all set to no for landing. And a lot of people, when they were trying to request clearance and clearance delivery, were saying negative, or you weren't allowed, and people were getting a bit confused of why. There was a slight problem of the importing of the AirAct data, which has been resolved now. but just bear in mind that some of the airports or some of the runways at certain airports will be switched to off or to no. Okay, and that data or that information is coming from the AirAct data. So please bear that in mind. If you think you can take off or land at a runway and you're not getting clearance, then come have a check in here to make sure these are set to yes. You can change if you want to. Okay, but just right clicking them. Okay. Alright, and that. Okay, let's just double click, sorry, double click them. Alright, and you can change them there. Alright. Okay, so that's that issue out of the way as well. Okay. When you get this update, 1138, can you please realign your scenery? You don't have to re-import it, but you just need to come into here, alright, and hit this option here, start alignment. You don't have to rebuild it again, just start the alignment again. Okay, so that's that. So that's really all the goodie bits in here. And if you can't remember what I've said, instead of rewinding the video, if you come into help and if you look at the updates here and look at the 1138 updates in here, and it goes through them all there for you there. Okay, so please realign the scenery there. Okay, and again, if you've got any questions, then please post them onto the forum. Okay, so that's the extras. Just going to go quickly now onto the flight planning side of it. Importing of flight plans can be done in a few ways. I'm going to show you a couple of ways of doing them. One of the ways will be going through Route Finder on the internet. Another way will be using this website, and also I'll take you through FS Build here as well. Okay. Alright, let's have a look at the first one, Route Finder. You get to Route Finder here from this link up here. A lot of people use this. I use this now and again. It's quite good to use. So I'm going to show you how to get a route quickly from here into ProATC and a way to get to fly. Alright, so first of all we come and put our departure in. Alright, and we put in our destination and we untick SIDS and stars. Alright, because we don't know at this stage our SIDS and stars. Okay, and then all we do, make sure we're at the right cycle here, 1213 at the moment, and you can change any of this here if you want to, but make sure this cycle is the same as the cycle, database cycle you have for the AirAct data in ProATC. Find route, and it goes away and creates a route, and here's all your routes here. Okay, the bit you're interested in is this bit at the bottom here. Okay, and all I do is highlight it, Control C to copy. I'm then going to go up to ProATC. I'm going to come into flight plan, import flight plan, copy and paste, and you'll see that is the same as that. I click import, goes away and imports it, and lo and behold, there it is. And then you can change it, manually do whatever you want to it, or click save, and off you go. So that's one way, very quickly, of how to get a copy and paste route into that. Okay, that's that one. Okay, another way I'm going to show you is from another website, Real World Flight Plan Database, and it's here. And this time you have to join first. It costs nothing, so just sign up. Hit the cert function here, and we're going to create a flight plan, or have a look at some flight plans, and put these flight plans into ProATC. This time let's just go back the other way from there, and we'll click search, and here we come with all the flight plans, nicely colour coded here, quite a lot of them. Let's take the first one, the most recent one, and here you'll see all the data about the flight. I think it's quite handy here because you get the times and the altitude it flew at there. And there's the flight plan there. Okay. This time we're not going to copy and paste anything. We're going to actually export this flight plan out. If I click export, Let me just get out of the way for a minute. You see this little export box here, and we're just going to use FS in and export it. I'm using Chrome, so it does all this stuff here. Makes it simple. I can just drag that out to my desktop. Okay, and that's the flight plan. I'll close all this out, get it out of the way. This time we're going to import the flight plan. Import, but this time from File, and we'll find the file. It's there. Okay, and open it, and lo and behold, there's the flight plan there. Okay, you'll notice you've got your transitions for your SIDS and your stars. Everything's done for you. Okay, and you'll notice that all these points, all these waypoints are connected via airways. So this flight plan will be able to be imported into the ACS aircraft. Okay, I'll cancel out that one. So that's two ways of doing it. Okay, another way is using FS build here. Okay, again, keep it simple. We'll put in that. Now, one of the options here under the build options is to exclude SIDS and stars. Okay, so make sure you tick that because you don't know, alright, where you're going. And I also delete those as well because you don't know what you're going to have. Okay, I like this one because you get an alternate as well. And then we're just going to pick auto generate. Okay, we're not going to build it, you can auto generate it. Goes away, and therefore it generates the flight. Okay, and this is exactly the same way as we did on the first website. We highlight it, Control C to copy, okay, into ProATC, flight plan, import flight plan from copy and paste, and there it is there, look. Okay, that's the same as that there. Import it, alright, and there we go. Okay, imports your flight plan for you. Job done. And again, you'll notice they're all via airways. Alright, so this flight plan you'll be able to put into the Aerosoft ACS aircraft. Alright, so that's the three ways I'm going to show you on this video of how to import a flight plan from different sources. Okay, I've shown you how to get it from here and also from Route Finder itself as well. Okay, so there are three ways. On another video I'll show you some other ways of importing flight plans, but there's three ways of getting you going. Okay, if you're lucky enough to own FS build, then fine. Or there's stuff on the internet where you can still import flight plans to your heart's content. Okay, again, any problems then please let me know. Drop a line on the forum, and we'll answer them as quick as we can. We're next going to start work already on the next update, 1139, which is some exciting stuff coming onto that one as well, some to do with AI. And we'll be looking at dealing with the AI in the air at the moment. And I know some people have been having problems with AI coming through their aircraft or crashing to them in mid-air disasters, so we'll have a look at that on that and some other fantastic and exciting stuff as well. Okay, happy flying guys. Again, any problems then please drop us a line on the forum and we'll come back to you as quick as we can. Bye for the next time. Thank you, bye bye.